This is the perfect time to introduce our next guest. Former regional councillor, city councillor, lawyer, commercial business operator, I think she still is, and former ACT Member of Parliament, Hilary Calvert. And she joins us this afternoon. Did you hear all that conversation? I hope you didn't hear it all, Hilary.
I did, and I've got something to add to it. I've got a suggestion.
All right, go.
My suggestion is that there's, in the world at the moment, and there probably has been for some time, a house swapping sort of thing. You know, you can let somebody else stay in your house for a week. You don't have to swap with them. You can swap with anybody else in the app, as it were. And so somebody comes and stays at your house for a week, and you go and stay in their house in Portugal for a week, or someone else's house in Santa Monica or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest a variation to that. So as instead of just being there and could you feed the cat while I'm gone, you could swap.
You leave the woman. Yeah.
You leave the woman.
Yeah. Listen,
so you go and,
yeah.
What do you think?
I can see it working. I think it's a brilliant idea. And it's not just for males, it's for females as well. So I want to go and stay with I'll go to female, I'll take your Portuguese husband, and you can come to Dunedin and look after mine for a week.
Yeah, and sort of...
Do you think there'd be a lot of takers?
And look, for just a week, you can give it a go, can't you?
Yeah. Listen, it's working for me. Yeah.
And then you could get feedback on the app that would say, you know...
Yes, that's right. They can write a review. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's a brilliant idea. You should start a business. I think you'd make a lot of money out of it.
Yeah. So I thought I could add to that conversation. And I thought
somebody says it's called swinging. No, it's not. Swinging is largely indulged in New Zealand by rather fat couples who've got rather bored with each other and want to swing around with other fat couples in hot pools. No. It's not swinging. You're thinking about something much more sophisticated, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. And with less, more and less going for it in the sense
and the other thing is, because it's like book a batch, isn't it, really? Book a batch with benefits. Yeah, book a batch with benefits. No, it seems... Yeah. Brilliant.
I reckon I could be onto something here.
I think you are onto something. You are very much onto something. Hey, just on to something before we get on to something serious. Mama, can I ask you a question? How did Mama Cass Elliott die?
My recollection, and it could completely be hopeless about this, was that she choked on a chicken leg or something.
See? Now, it's very interesting that you should say that. In actual fact, it's the ham sandwich, remember? So she choked on a ham sandwich, leading to one of the immortal lines of, if only Cass Elliott had given that ham sandwich to Karen Carpenter. Remember that? Yeah, I know. Well, some people think it's bad taste, but I thought it was quite amusing at the time. No, a New York Times has just written an article that she didn't choke on a ham sandwich, but the story was deliberately put out that she had, ironically, by her entertainment manager. Did you know that? It was a deliberate story because they didn't want people to know that in actual fact Cass Elliott had died of a heart attack, which was likely to have been brought on by years of substance abuse and crash dieting. So as a consequence of saying, oh no, we can't possibly have her left with the reputation that she died because of excessive drug use, they decided to come up, believe it or not, with this choking on a ham sandwich story. How bizarre. And and see, even you in Dunedin in 2024 have believed that or understood that some version of that was true. It just goes to show how pervasive that myth has been over, 50 years?
Yes, and I don't, my recollections of things are, no better than they ought to be, for want of a better description, but interesting, isn't it?
Yes, I agree. Somebody says, Michael, move on. All this woman bashing is less than edifying, says Peter. Peter, wake up. Enjoy a little badinage. It might be moving into winter, but for God's sake, lighten up, man. Booker Bitch says, that's very good.
We don't need to worry about your
Okay.
caller can then, we don't need to worry about men if that's the best they can do, you can say about them.
Oh, no, exactly. It's an equal opportunity thing. It's male and female. It's not just female. So there you go. But no, in our lifetime, though, in New Zealand, how many Filipino wives ended up in Dunedin? I know one lawyer who had one in Dunedin. Was that and what was the version, what was the view of men that did actually end up with Filipino wives in the 80s and 90s? Can you remember?
I don't know, because to me, I wasn't even sure what I thought about that. For women, if that's their opportunity to get out of where they are.
Yeah.
And I think once you were there for long enough, you were married to them and you were there for 3 years and you could get your citizenship or whatever, who was exploiting who for what purpose was not totally clear to me.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I never got to the bottom of my own
thoughts on that one. Yeah. I actually I came across it quite often, and can also say when I was a member of Parliament, a constituency MP, because sometimes immigration got a bit miffy at some stage there in the early 90s and started saying, "Oh, we think this is an arranged marriage." Well, of course it's arranged marriage, but aren't all marriages arranged? But anyhow.
Yes. In any case, what's so special about the marriage of the person who is saying that?
Exactly. So I would often end up with the male and the Filipino lady sitting opposite me in my office, seeking my assistance and intervention. But I also discovered, right at that time, in the early 90s, there was a strong trade between Indian men, particularly from the Punjab, and Maori women. Same sort of connection. And it was, I don't know why, very poorly reported upon. Everybody knew about Filipino wives, but it was very poorly pointed on. It was much more low market, but it was just as prevalent and prolific. And a lot of Indian men married the Maori woman in particular, divorced them, and then brought their family out because they were already married back in India.
Well, you can't divorce somebody you haven't married, I don't think. Just...
No, that was the fraud.
Sorry, you can't...
Yeah. That was the fraud that was perpetrated. You're absolutely right.
Yes. So if you're already married...
But it required a complaint, you see. Yeah. So our stupid legal system works upon the basis of it's not proactive, it's reactive, you see. So once the Maori woman got divorced by the Indian man, they chose well. She's unlikely to turn up and go, "Oh, he's got a wife back in so-and-so." He just split. After 2 years, he had his New Zealand residency now, his permanent residency, and in some cases, New Zealand citizenship. So brings over the wife. Records were poorly kept in the Punjab at the time, obviously. And lo and behold, starts his new life in a new country with his old family.
Oh, well. Does that come in the nice work if you can get it category? I don't know.
I think it might. Hey, listen.
It was different times.
Yeah. Can I talk to you, please, about an event that has shocked and shocks still as of this morning or this afternoon, Dunedin. And shocked it to the core, I would suggest. I would think almost no person living in Dunedin wouldn't have had an emotional reaction to the appalling news that last week, Anare McLaren Tana, a young boy, 16-year-old boy who had previously been a student.
Just about the age of your son.
That's exactly right. So if you've got a child at this age, it gets even more immediate. Was stabbed to death at the Dunedin bus hub by a 13-year-old who is still, as I understand, in the custody of the loving embrace of Oranga Tamariki and won't be coming out of there anytime soon before his first appearance in court next month. Now, the interesting thing is that the Otago Daily Times, which is your local newspaper, and its stories have been widely circulated throughout by the New Zealand Herald, and I think Radio New Zealand as well, have over the last 96 hours published a number of stories. And one of the two things that seem to strike out to me is the first is that a whole lot of people in authority, the Dunedin City Council, the Otago Regional Council, and the Dunedin Police, were aware of ongoing violent incidents at that particular bus hub. And I'm not talking historic, I'm talking current and relevant. So let's talk about that first. Is there a perception in Dunedin that the authorities have failed here as well?
I would think that if you were one of the police, you would just be wanting to hide under a rock at this point.